What's going on, everyone? So today we're going to continue working on the rear floor of this thing. If you guys remember, I built a floor frame for it. We built the floor. I decided to 4-link it. I had to cut out some of it. I want to add third row. So basically, now that I have some stuff finished up back there, we can actually push forward with getting the floor done. So let's get started. Be sure to check out the first video if you haven't seen it yet, where we built the rear floor. And after that happened, I decided instead of running the leaf springs that I was going to 4-link it. And to do that, I basically had to cut out that center section that's missing right there on the floor frame, because I had to put a bigger C-notch on here. That cross member that goes across there now, it was in the same spot that one of these factory ones went across. We're going to get this frame back in. That way we can have a spot to be able to weld the floor too. But also we're going to be adding a third row seat in here. I have the seat already. So before we weld the floor in, we want to figure out areas for it to bolt into. So the first thing we're going to push forward with is getting these bars in. Now that's close, probably about a 1/2 inch away from hitting this. So I'm going to do a piece of 1x1. And right here behind the shock, it's going to taper up, and it's going to go down to some 1/4 inch strap. Once it gets past the shock, it'll taper back out to 1x1, and I'll do one of those for each side. And then for the middle piece, this center section right here on our rear end, the center of the axle housing, I think we're going to be good. We have about 3 inches of clearance in between there, so I don't think we need to blister the floor, but I also don't want to step it down to 1x1 right above there. So for it, we're going to taper it to the strap right here at this cross member, but it's going to stay 1/4 inch a lot further up than the two outside ones. So let's get going on that. Well, built a couple more of these for over the shocks. Are these the prettiest things in the world? Hell no. Will they work for what we're doing? Absolutely. So let's go get these things welded in on the travel-all. That was a pain in the ass with this boot on. Next, we're going to look at this third row seat for this thing. So it looks like we'll be able to use these two bolting points there, and there's one up in there. These latches went on there. So like I said, the seat had some legs on it that bolted right here. These legs kicked off and they were a pivot point, so the front could sit down and latch. I'm just gonna get rid of all that stuff and build us a frame that can bolt there and there. So we're gonna try to get the ass into this thing to touch the floor, and the front we're gonna add a 2 to 3 inch little rake into it to make it more comfortable. So I set that up in here, and I flipped this seat back till I got it the distance I wanted it. You can see I have that block propped up underneath the front there. If we come back here to the back side and flip that up, that's the main seat frame right there. Now the area that bolts is out there. It's kind of in this area. So I'd actually like to just weld something from that straight down to there. Well, I have this bracket, which is from an old air tank mount. It's like 3/16. It's already broke, 290 pieces, 2 3/8 holes drilled. So I'm gonna cut these down and butt them up against right there and just put a couple tack welds on them. Now we gotta be careful because this is full of foam. So I'm gonna square this up as good as I can in the travel law, cut down that bracket and get them both tacked on each side. Got the tabs all welded up on the seat, and I drilled the holes in here, so everything's within a 1/16 as far as the holes, which is good. When I was first trying to mock it up from the back, if I got it where it looked good by eye, the measurements were really off. So I just squared it up with the tape measure and then started looking at it from the front instead of the rear, and it started looking a lot better. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I need to get the floor clecoed in and see if I can get the holes drilled from the bottom up through there, possibly. How is it? Watch your feet.
I like it.
You got room?
Hi.
You think that'll work?
Uh-huh.
That'd be fun for driving?
Uh-huh.
Good deal. All right. All right, it's a couple days later now, and I'm finally gonna put the floor in here. I did just finish up a couple things in here. I drilled out most of these to 1/4 inch for the spot weld, and I left every other one just 1/8 inch so I can cleco the ends in. They do want to pop up because it is still a little warped, but I think I can make it work. I was gonna wait and try to get Brandon's deep throat shrinker, but I just don't have the time to go get it and be able to return it and everything. So I'm just gonna push forward. It'll sit flat, so it'll still be good. Let me show you what I did in here real quick. All I did in here was clean up everywhere where the clecos went. That way we have nice metal to weld the spot welds to. I did get underneath here with everything out. I dropped bolts in here where the seat goes. Ran the nuts down and welded them on all of them. So the nuts are welded to the frame now. That hole and that hole is for the seat belts for the middle seat. So I took some measurements up there so we can mark them after the floor gets in here. What in the hell? If anyone knows a fabricator, I need some new grill grates. These things are falling apart. And I ran out of lighter fluid. Well, that's it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm pretty happy with how all that turned out. That third row looks like it belongs there. It looks good. This is the first time I've rolled it outside in a while. With all that extra weight in the back, the ass end is down lower than what I want it, so I'll probably end up having to build a spacer to go on the mount between the mount and the coil spring. No big deal. If you're new to the channel, please check out some of the other videos. You always come back. I appreciate you guys coming and watching. If you want to help the channel out, all you gotta do is drop a comment down below, like the video, share, subscribe. All those things help me out, so I appreciate it when you guys do that. If you're on Instagram, I'm on there at Puddin's Fab Shop, and I'll see you guys in the next video. But don't forget, sitting on your ass won't finish your project. I'll see you guys next time.